أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين يجادلون في آيات الله بغير سلطان أتاهم إن في صدورهم إلا كبر ما هم ببالغيه فاستعذ بالله إنه هو السميع البصير. لخلق السماوات والأرض أكبر من خلق الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. لخلق السماوات والأرض أكبر من خلق الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. وما يستوي الأعمى والبصير وما يستوي الأعمى والبصير والذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات ولا المسيء قليلا ما تتذكرون. وما يستوي الأعمى والبصير والذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات ولا المسيء قليلا ما تتذكرون إن الساعة لآتية إن الساعة لآتية لا ريب فيها ولكن أكثر الناس لا يؤمنون وما يستوي الأعمى والبصير والذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات ولا المسيء قليلا ما تتذكرون قليلا ما تتذكرون إن الساعة لآتية إن الساعة لآتية لا ريب فيها ولكن أكثر الناس لا يؤمنون وقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم وقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم إن الذين يستكبرون عن عبادتي سيدخلون جهنم داخرين الله الذي جعل لكم الليل لتسكنوا فيه والنهار مبصرا إن الله لذو فضل على الناس إن الله لذو فضل على الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون صدق الله العظيم.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله معز الإسلام بنصره ومذل الكفر بقهره ومصرف الأمور بأمره ومديم النعم بشكره القوي فوق عباده فلا يدافع الظاهر عليهم فلا ينازع الحاكم بما يريد فلا يراجع الممسك المعطي فلا يمانع نحمده جلت حكمته وعز سلطانه على ما أخذ وأعطى وعلى ما أبلى وابتلى ونستعيذ به من سلب نعمته أو إحقاق نقمته ونستغفره مما أحاط به علمه وأحصاه كتابه ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا محمدًا عبده ورسوله ابتعثه ربه والناس يضربون في ظلمه ويموجون في حيرة فبلغ وأدى ونصح وكشف وخلف في الأمة راية الله الثقيلة من استمسك بها سعد وفاز ومن تركها شقي وضل ضلالا بعيدا ما نعمله في هذه سنراه في تلك والآخرة مرآة الدنيا اليوم عمل ولا رؤية وغدا رؤية ولا عمل فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the world. He has no partners, no associates. We bear witness there is no God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no deity that is to be worshipped except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is the last of his prophets and the seal of his messengers. He delivered the message, fulfilled the mission, and he strived in the path of Allah and left behind for us the book of Allah and the sunnah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Two things, as long as we're holding tight on, we will never go astray. And when we abandon them, we will never find guidance. أما بعد. واسألهم عن القرية التي كانت حاضرة البحر إذ يعدون في السبت إذ تأتيهم حيتانهم يوم سبتهم شرعا ويوم لا يسبتون لا تأتيهم كذلك نبلوهم بما كانوا يفسقون وإذ قالت أمة منهم لم تعظون قوما الله مهلكهم أو معذبهم عذابا شديدا قالوا معذرة إلى ربكم ولعلهم يتقون فلما نسوا ما ذكروا به أنجينا الذين ينهون عن السوء وأخذنا الذين ظلموا بعذاب بئيس بما كانوا يفسقون صدق الله العظيم. Today, khutbah, inshallah, we're going to live with a story from the Quran. Fairly short story, about 5 lines, 6 lines. But inshallah, there is a lot of khair. There's lots of treasures in this story. When we go through the story first, it sounds very straightforward, simple, not much of characters in the story. There's not a lot of actions or events, but there are so much profound lessons in this story, inshallah. Let's first go over the story and I'll translate, and then we'll try to study it a little more deeper, inshallah. The ayat are from Surah Al-A'raf. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. And ask them about the town that was located at the coast of the sea, that they were violating the Sabbath, that on the day of Sabbath, which is in Arabic Sabbath, their fish will come so much that you can't even see them. And on the other days, they will not come. That is how we test them, because of the disobedience. And that a group of them asked, why are you counseling or advising or preaching to people whom Allah is destroying or punishing severe punishment? They said, as an excuse to your Lord, and perhaps they would fear. And when they abandoned or forgot about what they have been reminded about, we saved those who were forbidding what's wrong, and we destroyed the wrongdoers because of what they were disobeying. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. This is the translation of the story. And again, when you go through it quickly first, you almost kind of get a sense that this is the same story that we repeatedly see in the Quran. A group of people received orders from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they paid the price for that through punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in fact, actually, there is a lot more in this story than that kind of superficial impression. First of all, let's just look in the story and the settings so we have a little bit understanding about it. The story is clearly talking about the Israelites, the descendants of Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salam. At some point, a lot of the Mufassirin said those were the followers of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. How do we know that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't say it clearly, but we know from the fact that the story is talking about the day of Sabbath, Saturday, the Sabbath. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered the Israelites to honor that day. On that day, they should devote the day to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no work, there is not a lot of worldly activities. Now, regardless of the details of what is the original orders and stuff, there is no doubt that this was an absolute order that they should not work, they should not do a lot of activities on that day, the Sabbath, which is in Arabic Sabbath, which is in English now Saturday. So that's how we know the story is related to them. The story happened in a coastal town at the sea coast. And obviously for people who live in such a town, the main thing that they do is fishing. That's the main job that most people will be doing. So this is kind of the background of the story where it happened. They were ordered to honor that day and devote to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And some of them disobeyed. Just like what happens everywhere at any time. And actually, before we keep going, one important thing I want to just bring up here, which is very interesting when I learned it. Why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala frequently in the Quran refers to stories of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam and his followers? This is important because at their time, they were us. They were the Muslims of their time. A lot of the stories when you see a prophet and his people having a debate or a dialogue or telling them to do this and do that, a lot of those people were disbelievers. They never believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like Sayyidina Nuh and Sayyidina Ibrahim. But when you come to the Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam or the descendants of Sayyidina Yaqub, the majority of them, they believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They had the books, they had the knowledge. Most of them were believers. So sometimes the examples are closer to a community of believers than when you talk about people who are not. So when you look at this story, some people disobeyed. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided that every day that is Sabbath, that is Saturday, the fish will come. But the people are not supposed to work. They're sitting, they're looking from their windows, they see the fish, we're not working. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said so. Next day, for the rest of the week, now it's time to work, it's time to fish, there's no fish. Clearly not the whole community was disobeying, because the next ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clarifies that some people were asking others, why are you wasting your time talking to these people, to these sinners, to those who are disobeying, trying to convince them or deter them from what they're doing? Don't waste your time with them. Those are gunners. Allah will be destroying them, punishing them severe punishment. The other group replied, well, we're doing that as an excuse before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and perhaps they will change. Clearly they did not change. And at the end, the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came on the wrongdoers. Now, let's look a little closer at how the community or society was formed. You can tell there were three groups. One group, those were the people who were doing the sin, doing something that displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're not obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's orders. And that happens everywhere at any time. In addition to that, there was a group of people who clearly were not doing that sin, and they were trying to enjoin what's good and forbid what's wrong. They're trying to do al-amr bil-ma'ruf and al-nahy anil munkar. But there was also a third group, and that group clearly were not doing the sin also, but they were not engaged in al-amr bil-ma'ruf and al-nahy anil munkar. They were not active in that regard. They were actually the opposite. They were passive enough that they were questioning the others, why are you wasting your time with them? Look, we're not doing the sin. You guys are not doing the sin. Those people, leave them alone. Allah will take care of them. They're going to be punished. So this is the three groups that were highlighted in the story. What's really interesting is when you go to the last ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about two groups only. When they abandoned or forgot what they have been reminded of, we saved those who were forbidding evil or wrong, and we destroyed the wrongdoers. This is two groups only. Where is the third one? Those who were saved, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was very clear telling us that it is not those who were not doing the sin. In fact, actually, it was those who were forbidding what's wrong. Those are the exact words of the Quran. And those who were destroyed, it was kept very general. الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا, those who were doing wrong. And the Mufassirin have talked about this. What happened to the third group? The wrongdoers, those who were sinning, destroyed. That's easy. Those who were not doing the sin and they were forbidding evil, they were talking to them, they were preaching to them, trying to convince them to change what's wrong. They were saved. That's clear. What happened to the third group? They were not doing the sin. But yet, clearly, they didn't care about al-amr bil-ma'ruf and al-nahy an al-munkar. The Mufassirin have two opinions about it. A little kind of stronger opinion is that they were destroyed also. They were considered or grouped within الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. And the opinion here comes from a lot of ahadith that is consistent with that approach. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in a hadith in Al-Tirmidhi, صححه والذي نفسي بيده لتأمرن بالمعروف ولتنهون عن المنكر أو ليوشكن الله أن يعمكم وفي رواية أن يحل عليكم بعقاب ثم تدعونه فلا يستجاب لكم. The hadith, by the one who is my soul in his hands, you most certainly, there is tawqid in the word, لَتَأْمُرُنَّ, you most certainly are to enjoin what's good and forbid what's bad, or else Allah will descend upon you or will impose upon you or will send down upon you a punishment, and in riwayah on all of you. It will engulf all of you. And then you turn back to Allah in supplication, in dua, and it will not be answered. The other hadith of, it's a little long hadith, we'll just go with the English translation right away, which is in Sahih al-Bukhari, when Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave the example of those who watch and guard the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The example of people who boarded a ship and they draw lots, who's going to be on the top, who's going to be on the bottom. And those who were in the bottom of the ship, whenever they wanted to drink water, they had to climb up to the deck to drink the water. And they said to the people on the top, we are thinking about digging a hole in the bottom of the ship, so we will get the water right away and we drink there. You know, if you think about it, for them, it sounded like that's unfair. You guys are sitting on the top, water is very accessible for you. For us, we have to go up and down all the time. We'll get some water directly from that. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of course, this is just a semiology, it's an example. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam clarified, if those people will let them go ahead with their plan, that group will drown and everyone will drown. The whole ship will sink. And if they restrain them from this, that group will be saved and everyone will be saved. Now, the other opinion, of course, about this second group, basically, is some of the Mufassirin said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala سكت عنهم لأنهم سكتوا ومردوا أمرهم إلى الله. So some of the Mufassirin said that we really don't know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not clarify, and their matter is up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the best that you would hope for, is Allahu A'lam, this person could be accountable or not. This opens the topic of Al-Amr bil-Ma'ruf and Al-Nahy an al-Munkar. And this is a very sensitive and delicate topic. Not because it's not important. The importance of this topic is overwhelming in the Quran. The number of ayat and ahadith talking about it is endless. وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. And this ayah actually is really remarkable. We always repeat it, but sometimes we don't ponder on it really enough. You are the best nation that was brought up to humanity, to mankind. We want to be careful and not stop there, because that privilege is not given for granted, like you're just the best because you are the best. There is a criteria that follows after that. 3 criteria. تأمرون بالمعروف, you enjoin what's good, you urge people to do what's good, you command with what's good, what's better, what's best. وتنهون عن المنكر, and you discourage people, you try to limit, you try to suppress, you try to minimize anything that is bad. وتؤمنون بالله, and you believe in Allah. And if you think about it, it's very logical. If you have a group of people or a community or a nation that are always striving to encourage each other to do what's best and to avoid what's bad, then automatically they're going to be the best nation. If you're encouraging everyone to have the best manners, the best attitude, the best treatment of others, the best knowledge, the best hard work, the best honesty, obviously you're going to be the best nation. And on the other hand, you're also trying to minimize what's wrong. But the topic, of course, gets a little tricky, especially when you add to that how things have changed over time and the concept of personal freedom and what's my business and what's not my business, and who's going to do the Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy an al-Munkar. There are a lot of questions that will be brought up. And again, my purpose of this khutbah is not to discuss this topic, and this is definitely something above my level. However, one thing that we need to keep in mind, taken from the hadith of Rasulullah ﷺ, that I know everyone has heard it and knows it, that whenever a Muslim sees something wrong, then he or she should change it with their hand, and if they can't, then they change it with their tongue, and if they can't, then with their heart. And that is the least or the weakest of the iman. So we can't see something that's wrong and just sit silent, because again, that's the whole point of the story, that those people felt there is no point of talking to them, and most likely they were seen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're just like them. But what comes down to, as far as the Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy an al-Munkar, is a simple fact that we need to keep it clear in our mind. So it will hopefully guide us when we approach this. A lot of times, actually, we get stuck on the results of enjoining what's good or forbidding what's bad. I see something wrong, it must be changed. Great, I want to change it. And I'm not going to let go until it changes. That's where it gets muddy here. That's a mistake. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never hold us accountable for the results of our actions. We take the actions, we try our best, within our authority, within our capacity. Maybe there is nothing absolutely that I, in my position, can do about this topic. Fine, but you can speak. Well, there is absolutely, no one's going to listen to me, and I've tried, I couldn't reach anyone. Then you've done everything you could do. You don't have to keep thinking, okay, now how do I, of course it will be great that we keep trying to change it, but if I cannot change it, I shouldn't go out of my authority or my position to ensure that it must be changed. Someone else, hopefully, this will fall in their role. Now, this is one thing about the story that we talked about here in Surah Al-A'raf. But that's not the only interesting thing in this story. When you look at the ayah, when the two groups were having the conversation, why are you wasting your time with these people? If you think about it, I have no doubt many of us have been in this situation sometimes, maybe many times. You feel like you're in a situation that you absolutely cannot change. Or you've been trying over and over, nothing's happening. I've been trying to quit smoking for a long time and I couldn't. I've been trying to take my kids, and convince them to pray. Still, they are not praying. I prepared or arranged a big activity. Every week, I'm doing something. No one's showing up. I'm trying to do this, and it's not happening. Sometimes those thoughts will come to our mind, and they definitely might pull you down. Look, it's clearly not going to happen. So what's the point of trying again and again? Let's give up. Now, the point here is to look at the answer of the other group. They gave them two reasons, and those two reasons were placed in very specific order. Number one, ma'diratan ila rabbikum. Number two, number one, as an excuse before your Lord. Number two, perhaps it will work with them. Perhaps they will fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe they will change. We have to be very careful and not see things the other way around. The reason that we're putting the effort in anything that we're working hard to try to achieve is number one, is for ourselves. So we have an excuse before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it is about the results, wallahi, many times, you're going to see many people, they will give up easily. Because a lot of times we're not seeing any results. But it doesn't matter. We keep trying because we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for sure will ask us, what did you do? And we better have an answer. We need to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I've tried and tried and tried. And you never know. Maybe it's the 100th time that something will happen and it will work out. And if it never, the results are in Allah's hands. This is Allah's wisdom, and I cannot change it. But at least I've done everything I could do. Another thing that we can get from this story, when you go back to the beginning of the story, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِذْ يَعْدُونَ فِي السَّبْتِ. The problem was, they were violating the orders of honoring the day of Sabbath. What came after that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, on the Sabbath, no more fish. On the Sabbath, you're going to have a lot of fish, but you can't work. On the rest of the days of the week, no more fish. And what comes after that? كَذَلِكَ نَبْلُوهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَفْسُقُونَ. This phrase is like a key. That is how we test them because of their disobedience. Let's understand this. Wallahi, beautiful. They started with disobedience. All what was required is honor this day, don't work on this day. And as a default, you would expect the fish to be there all the time. You're disobeying. The test will get harder. Now there is no more fish on the rest of the week and only on the day that you're not working. Now if you imagine yourself, someone who's living in that situation, I guarantee you it's going to be now hard, even if you're not a bad person, to try to stick to the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to have a stronger iman. The test is getting harder. Why is it getting harder? It's because of what you started. A lot of times, actually, we feel that things are getting worse. I was a little bit kind of tight financially. Not too bad, but tight. I'm trying to save, and it's getting worse. Trying to save more, it's just getting worse. At some point, we need to stop and ask, is it getting worse because of what I'm doing? You know what's the best solution for someone who's tight on money? Is to spend it in sadaqah. Now, that may not make a lot of sense unless someone has faith and belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On paper, that doesn't make any sense. You're telling me you don't have enough and you're going to spend more, then your bank account will drop more. Yes, but the reason that you are not having enough from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that you're not doing enough to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Pay charity and see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will change the situation. Please, brothers, if you want to come forward, just to create some space in the back. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would always test us. But when we're failing a test after a test, we need to expect that those tests are going to get harder. Not only that, when you're talking about a community, certain people's actions are going to affect everyone. And the test will get harder on everyone. Some people in that town, probably they were not that religious, which is expected. There's always people who don't necessarily follow Allah's orders. It happens. But now, because of their disobedience, many people have to suffer. They're struggling. There is not enough business. You know, in a coastal town, everyone's going to rely on fishing or something related to fishing. And now there is not much. There is economic crisis. Literally, that's what it is. There is no fish. No one's working. And here's where the shaitan might come. What's wrong if you work on Saturday, on the Sabbath? It's not like you're killing anyone. It's not like you're harming anyone. Yeah, it's wrong, but other people do something worse. Not only that, you're actually going to go and work to support your family. You're not working the rest of the week. There's no fish. You probably should go and work on Saturday so you get some money to feed your family. Not just feed your family, you're actually boosting the economy. Now there's business again. We're getting the fish again now. This is how the shaitan can creep in and convince us that what is haram and has a text, clear text, we find a way to change it and twist it and say that's not too bad. The concept of this story applies to individuals and applies to communities. Obviously, the story is more tilted toward communities. When we are expected to not be silent when something is wrong, when we see something that needs to be changed or improved, we don't have to think about change always that it has to be the opposite of what's happening. Maybe just improve it. Maybe just minimize it. We may not eliminate everything wrong in the society, but we are responsible to try to decrease it and minimize it. Every Muslim is responsible before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, within our capacity, whatever we can do, to try to change whatever around us. We are responsible for the effort. We're not responsible for the results. But if we had the ability at any occasion or situation to do something, to say something, and we did not, then wallahu a'lam, this is a serious responsibility. This can be done directly, sometimes within the family, sometimes within friends, within a work situation. But it can also be done on a national level. I know that we cannot go and meet, the officials every day and give them our opinion. But this is one example of the importance of trying to give your vote or give your opinion on who's going to be a leading person to decide what's happening in this state or in this town or in this school district or in this entire country. You certainly will say, and I'm telling you because I have no doubt many of us will think, seriously, what will my vote make a difference? And you know what? I believe you. It probably will not make any difference. Who knows? It might, but very likely it will not. But remember what they said, مَعْذِرَةً إِلَى رَبِّكُمْ وَلَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ. The reason you do something, again, even if it sounds like it will not make any difference, is that on one day in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you will be asked, did you try to do something? You have something to answer. You can say, when we pay $100 or $50 or $1,000 to the people who are suffering all around the world, do we really think that our money is going to change their situation? Now they're going to live in prosperity? And it certainly will not. What will $100 do for millions of people? You're not responsible to change their situation, but you are most certainly responsible that you pay whatever is in your capacity to help out. So at least you will have an answer before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. عباد الله، إن الله أمركم أمرا بدأ فيه بنفسه وثنى بملائكة قدسه وثلث بالعالم من جنه وإنسه فقال ولا يزال قائلا حكيما إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أيد الإسلام والمسلمين وانصر وأعلي يا مولانا كلمتي الحق والدين. اللهم من أراد بالمسلمين خيرا فوفقه إليه ومن أراد بهم غير ذلك فاجعل دائرة السوء عليه. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا ظالمين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا ظالمين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا ظالمين. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا عسرا إلا نفسته ولا كربا إلا نفسته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا مريضا إلا شافيته ولا مبتلا إلا عافيته ولا مقطوعا إلا وصلته ولا غافلا إلا نبهته ولا مظلوما إلا نصرته ولا ظالما إلا قصمته ولا حاجة لنا من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة لك فيها رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا قضيتها عنا فيما يرضيك يا قاضي الحاجات يا سامع الأصوات يا مجيب الدعوات. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات المسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات بمنك وكرمك يا أكرم الأكرمين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. Just a quick reminder that this masjid is running not on our charities, but entirely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help. So our charities do not make a lot of difference. We do the charities for ourselves. So we have, again, an answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Did you help? Did you do something or not? So wallah, it's for us. Make sure that when we're leaving, do not pass these boxes without putting something. You never know. لعلها المنجية. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله. وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استووا. Straighten your lines and please mute your cell phones. Allahu Akbar. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر وأولئك هم المفلحون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. ولا تكونوا كالذين تفرقوا واختلفوا من بعد ما جاءتهم البينات ولا تكونوا كالذين تفرقوا واختلفوا من بعد ما جاءهم البينات وأولئك لهم عذاب عظيم يوم تبيض وجوه وتسود وجوه فأما الذين اسودت وجوههم أكفرتم بعد إيمانكم فذوقوا العذاب بما كنتم تكفرون
وأما الذين ابيضت وجوههم ففي رحمة الله هم فيها خالدون تلك آيات الله نتلوها عليك بالحق وما الله يريد ظلما للعالمين. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum. Just quickly, inshallah, to remind everyone that we do have a youth session with Sheikh Abdurrahman Murphy from 4 to 5 tonight, this afternoon, in the ICGC Mirror Hall. And tonight is also the community dinner in session with Sheikh Abdurrahman Murphy. Please note that the dinner is already full, but the session at night in the Mirror Hall, the lecture is